Welcome to Techtastic, the podcast that explores the cutting-edge world of technology and its impact on society. New breakthroughs and developments are revolutionizing the world around us, presenting exciting opportunities as well as complex challenges. We'll explore the big ideas and key players driving these transformations, as we seek to understand the implications of these advancements for our lives, our communities, and our planet. Join us on this journey of discovery and exploration as we navigate the fascinating and ever-evolving world of technology. This is Techtastic.
Atiba de Souza, welcome to It's Techtastic. It is lovely to have you here.
It's even lovelier to be here, buddy.
As we were getting to know each other a little bit, I mentioned that we don't do video, but that's near and dear to your heart. And you're big on content generation. And my favorite quote that I think is really important in this space is content is king, and why video has become the king of kings.
Well, I think content is king, queen, and the jester at this point. It is the entire, it's the whole freaking court. Okay, the whole court at this point, because at the end of the day, here's the deal. Coming out of the last 5 years of existence in this country, people are yearning for connection. People know that Big Brother has been lying to us and pulling wool over our eyes. We don't know who to trust in big corporations. Then we were in lockdown for all of this time, where we lost any sort of connections that we had to people physically. And people want to know that there are real people with real values behind a brand. And there's no better way to do it than on video.
So what is your company?
I run a video marketing agency, Client Attraction Pros. We help primarily in the medical space, doctors who are leaving the insurance world for the cash-based world find patients. Okay. And in that market, we're talking about $10,000 procedures. We've got to build know, like, and trust. You got to be able to trust this doctor that, I'm going to plop down this money and it's going to work.
I mean, you've got a couple things that are at play there too, because you've got the hyper-local aspect of it. Well, maybe not, right?
No, for some. So some of my doctors are hyper-local and some of my doctors are actually national.
Because they're known for a particular thing. They're sports medicine or whatever, that's a really interesting business. Your space has changed a lot in just I'd say the last year in particular, the rise of Google 20 years ago, I guess.
Yeah, it's 25, buddy.
But 25 years ago when Google came into the world, it changed everything. You had to become an expert on SEO because you had to figure out how to make your customers who are looking for a certain thing. But now with AI and that growing rapidly and people going there first, how does that change the equation? Because on the one side, the generative content side, I can create, there's a voice actor of me already. My producer occasionally uses it to make ads and things, but there's no video actor of me yet. So
it's coming.
Right,
we're playing with it. We're actually playing with it. Well, I
was gonna say, so you've got the rise of that. On the other side, it's where people are learning what's out there. They're finding things. Now it's not quite replaced Google yet because most of it's outdated information. It's trained on data that's years old, but that's changing fast too. Pretty soon you're going to have agents, your ChatGPT or whatever you're using, that are also searching the web and coming back with all those results. And so no longer Google, you're interacting with an AI tool that's pulling all that content together and getting you all that information. To me, that means that the content's more important and that it's more authentic, but it's also harder to distinguish high value content from the low value content because it's got to feed a new algorithm.
We're about to enter a renaissance. AI is going to change a lot in terms of how we search. The thing that's interesting is, and I'm going to say this on record, Google's going to win. Y'all heard it here. Google's going to win. Now, here's why. Because at the end of the day, almost every AI platform out there is built based on Google's original spec. Google's original spec wasn't everything that they had. So Google's still way ahead of everyone else. Okay.
They definitely have the data because they've got every bit of human knowledge that's ever been created.
ChatGPT is a subset of Google's actual AI platform. And if you're reading current, I'm talking about right now, people are like, oh my gosh, Bard, Google's version, the new version is so much better than ChatGPT 4. Okay. The reality there is Bard is a subset of Google's actual AI engine.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to poke a whole bunch of holes in it because I'm in AI, and we talk about it a lot. So I know the actual people doing the research, and it's true that a lot of the stuff that Google built in 1999 was based on an idea, and that idea is a lot of what AI has become. And in fact, I would say it even goes older than that, back to Steve Jobs. His idea was like the way that we interface with computers today is wrong. Why the hell do I have to talk to a computer like the computer wants to be talked to? I want the computer to talk to me like I want to be talked to.
I want to be talked to. Absolutely.
Right? And programming languages are silly. That's definitely there in Google. And Bard's got a lot of the positive things going on, but the research and stuff that's going on the side that's really earth-shaking is way outside their domain. And it's being done by people that have no connection there anymore.
That is. And so that's where we're going to get, especially, well, we could talk about AI in the medical field and where that's going. and
that's fascinating too. Yeah.
Yes, which is outside of Google too. But I'm saying for the everyday user, I think Google's going to win.
Oh yeah, for search and finding knowledge and finding answers, I think you're probably right, because how could they not?
Yes, they're going to win, right? In terms of the bigger picture and the far reaching, no, because they don't play in those spaces. They want to, they're trying to, but they really don't yet. Right. But back to the actual original question. Here's the deal. It's going to be an interesting story as we do get voice actors, we're playing with video actors right now.
Yeah.
Okay. We're playing with tools right now where it can learn who you are from video and replace you. And it's scary. And it's scary because 3 years ago, I ran into a friend of mine who's a mentor of mine, and he showed me a video that was a deep fake of 3 people having a meeting in a room that have never met before.
And you couldn't tell, could you? One of the first episodes I did of this podcast was a voice actor of me and 2 other AI agents all talking. I was never in it. And most of the audience was able to figure out the other 2 guests were AI. Not a single guest guessed that I was AI also, that it was my voice actor. And that was, almost a year ago now. And the technology's just improved. And it's going to force us, because if you can't trust what's on the screen in front of you anymore, the TV, your phone, your iPad, whatever, if you can't trust that anymore, what are you going to do? You're going to go get your eyes on it. You're going to go talk to, like you and I meet in person instead of a situation like this. I think it'll help us reform human connections that have been fraying. That's my hope.
So that's one side, yes. The side that I'm excited about, in all honesty, and I've been saying this for over a year, smart people are going to get smarter and dumb people are going to get dumber.
I worry about the dumber part, because that's a pretty low bar already.
Well, it is. But I think what's going to end up happening there is we're going to have the proliferation of more smart people being able to rise to the surface, right? I remember it was December of 2022. ChatGPT had just come out. And I did, which I do sometimes, a public service type of thing for a group that's in South Africa of young children who are marginalized. And they all knew in December 2022, and I'm talking, we've got kids 8 to 18, over half of them had already been on ChatGPT.
Oh my God, that's incredible. I mean, that's way too soon.
But that's my point. My point is, who knows what genius is sitting in that room?
Oh yeah.
Right? And this AI gives that genius the opportunity to level the playing field and bring something new to market that they never had opportunity before.
Yeah, I love that. I'm involved in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. I'm on the board of a local chapter. I was the Big Brother of the Year in 2013, a long time ago. But one of the things that really stood out to me, it was my learning from it. I wouldn't say I come from a super privileged background. There's privilege in my life. I wasn't raised dirt poor, but I was poor. But I had great parents that stayed married, all that kind of stuff. I had a lot going for me. But there was one huge advantage I had over a lot of people, and that was like a set of expectations that were put on me. Like, this is what good grades are. You're going to get good grades, that type of thing. And so the Big Brothers program, my little in it, a year in, they can come visit your house for the first time. And I didn't think a thing of it. I've been going to Isaac's place a whole year up to that point and hanging out. No big deal. So he comes to my place. And again, we hang out, we do a bunch of stuff. And then he goes back home. And the next week I go to his house, and his mom corners me as I walk in and says, Isaac won't stop talking about your house, says you live in a mansion. And well, we don't at all, right? But it's a house.
Perspective.
And once he had that perspective, he started asking great questions that he probably never would have considered before.
Exactly.
And it's that maybe here, but you also have the opportunity to be taught by, like, if you get engaged, and I want to learn physics, Why shouldn't I learn from Isaac Newton to Galileo to, Albert Einstein, work your way up? You could. I mean, the possibilities of that intellectual curiosity and your ability to do something with it are unlimited for the first time in human history. Everybody has access.
Yes. And that is the beauty, right? That is the absolute beauty. And I see that as the positive. There's so many people who also see this as a negative. And sure, they're bad actors. And they're always going to be bad actors. Like you said, somebody's going to try to burn down the house. Yeah. It really doesn't matter. You're always going to have bad actors. But we now, for the first time in human history, have the ability to have way more good actors and from way more places on this planet than we've ever had before.
I couldn't agree more. And I think if you look at the mass of humanity, I'd say we're 95% good actors and maybe 5% bad actors. And we can't let the 5% tear down everything.
I actually, it's so funny. I think I had a post earlier this week on social media about that there are really only 7 bad people in the world.
Let's see. No, sorry.
Right. But they make a lot of noise, right? But there aren't that many. But the problem is those who are doing good are often very silent or often do it in the background. And that's something that AI is going to allow some of those people to start having their voice come out more because they will create new and bring new to market.
So it's a really important factor here then is if they're a good person doing good things, get the message out, share it, let people see the good that's being done.
Yeah.
See, now I'm gonna have to make videos. You talked me into it.
You got to make videos, buddy. You got to do it.
I have hundreds of ideas of videos I could make, right? Like I do a lot of painting and I'm a creative person besides being an engineer. And I have all the ideas in the world, but getting people to notice is the hard part, right? Like it could be the best idea ever, but if nobody hears it, who cares?
Yeah.
So it's not even a fear of that. It's I only have so many hours in the day. I always try to do the highest value thing I can.
Yeah.
How do I make it the most valuable thing I did that day?
Yeah, it's a really, really great question. It's probably one of the best questions I've gotten in a while, to be honest with you. So I appreciate that. So the first thing I'll tell you is you got the ideas, you got to create the content, okay? Because the idea stuck in your head doesn't help anyone. So pull out your phone, record the video, okay? The next thing here, and this is the part that so many people miss, and because they're trying to get to what you're saying, is the number one key is authenticity. And what do I mean by that? Be you. There's so many people who see me, they see my stuff and they come up and say, oh my gosh, how can I be on camera like you? You don't want to do that. That's me.
Yeah.
Right? But when you meet me, I am the same guy that I am on camera. Okay? And you've got to take the ideas, speak and share authentically for who you are and what the point is that you're making. Here's why that's so important. It's important because it isn't about the number of people that see it. It isn't about the number of likes. It isn't about that dopamine at all. And I know how our society has got us revved up on the dopamine of likes and shares and all that good stuff on social. It's about the real people who see it that needed it. And maybe there's only 10 people. Maybe that was only 15 people. I was just talking with a doctor the other day and he was saying, oh my gosh, my Instagram channel sucks. We only have like 2,500 people on it. And I'm like, yeah, but you serve a small community. Why does everybody need to know you?
That is a really good way of thinking about it that I hadn't considered, and I really enjoy that perspective because you actually said something that reminded me of something my dad has said my whole life. It's easy to be mean. It only takes a second more to be kind. So take the time to be kind. And one of the things about putting that positive energy out in the world and sharing your message, whatever it is, being that authentic you is somebody probably did need to hear it. Maybe it was the one thing they needed that day that made it so that they could get through the day. Maybe it was the one thing in the day that helped them uncover a problem and solve it. Maybe it was the one thing that just made their day a little bit more enjoyable because you put it out there.
Yeah.
See, now that I can grab onto.
So, and where that translates is here. I remember I hired someone onto our team, and before he got the job, he did the smart thing. He went through my stuff and he looked at different things. And in the interview, he asked me this question, and I hired him. He says, so you're the video content Superman and all this, but to me, it seems like your videos don't have a lot of views on them. I said, yeah, you may measure it that way in terms of number of views. I measure it by how many clients call us with credit card in hand.
That is the goal, right? They trust you, they like you, they know you.
The right people see it, the right people get it, the right people take the right action. That's my goal.
especially when you've got a high margin business, you only need one customer, right?
Exactly. But that's what you want. You want the right people watching your content, and then you measure it based on their actions, not the masses. Okay? That's the reframing of how do I make this the most important thing to do today, or the most profitable thing that I do today, is the reframing of what you're actually measuring. Don't measure by the world standards, because the world is dead wrong.
On so many things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people want to know more, Atiba, they want to connect with you, they want to become, an expert in it, or they just want Superman's help, where do they go?
The best thing to do is to go to meetatiba.com, because I know we've had a wide-ranging conversation today, and it probably opened more questions than answered for you. And I want to answer your questions. So go to meetatiba.com. That's going to take you directly to my LinkedIn. When you get there, hit the connect button, not the follow button, hit the connect button. Okay? Let me know that you saw me here on the show, and ask me your question. I'm here to answer it.
Atiba, that was lovely having you on, man. This was a great conversation, and I do want to continue it. When I have questions, I'm going to reach out.
Please do. The pleasure's all mine.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Techtastic. I want to thank you personally for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Until then, keep exploring and stay curious. Hey there, Techtastians. Is your team drowning in tech debt and you just wish you had a magic button to fix it? I want to introduce you to Volaai, your tech debt hero. At Volaai, we get it. You're busy. That's why we've made fixing tech challenges as easy as a click of a button. You don't need to be an engineer. We empower non-techies to conquer complex tech issues effortlessly. We understand you don't have time for tech headaches. Volaai is here to lift that tech burden, making your tech debt disappear with a simple click. So ready to say goodbye to tech troubles? Try Volaai. Your solutions are just a click away.